Joining us in Studio B now is our second guest of the day. He is on the call tonight for BYU women's volleyball against Florida. His name is Dain Blanton, Olympic gold medalist and all-around good guy. Great to have you in Studio B, Dain.
Thanks for having
Nice to
me.
meet you.
Excited. It's been 25 years probably since I've been to Provo.
Well, welcome back to Provo.
Yeah,
man.
we were talking about that. You played at Pepperdine. You played BYU in the Smith Fieldhouse. So what do you expect kind of being back in the Smith Fieldhouse, where frankly you took it to BYU back in the 90s when BYU was getting into the NCAA men's volleyball scene?
I like that you looked up the record and had it in my favor, because you could have come up with any number and I would have probably
you were 0-8.
I like the 6-2, but you know what? It's such a hard place to come into play. That's what, when you hear BYU, you're like, I don't want to go in there and play, because the fans are so wild and the team plays at a higher level. And that's why, you know, this team, the women's volleyball team, is so dangerous.
Now, let's not bury the lead. A couple of things jump off the page from your own personal profile. One, Olympic gold medalist in 2000 beach volleyball. And also, there are a number of young ladies that work on our staff that are very excited about your performance in The Bachelor, Dain.
Wait a minute. There's like a statute of limitations. That was years ago. You had to dig deep for that.
Season 3, is that right?
Something like that. It was brand new. So let me tell you, they usually don't tell who's in the running, but they had notified the volleyball league back then, the beach volleyball league, and wanted some guys to try out. And they just kept calling me back. And all of a sudden, I think I was one of three guys. I think it was Andrew Firestone who was the actual Bachelor that year. But they didn't tell me they were going to put a little featurette up on the opening night. So my phone started blowing up like, "Are you the Bachelor?" But it was one show with a little featurette. I wasn't in the whole competition. But it was back when reality TV was brand new.
That's
but
awesome.
The statute's up. That's the last time I want to hear about that.
You're like, I want a gold medal, and you're bringing up The Bachelor? Come on,
Got to get that out of the way.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Oh, and then there's the gold medal as well.
I saw you had 11 aces in a set in a match. Like,
yeah, to 15.
Was it in a match? 11 in a 15?
We used to play, you know, when you had to serve to score.
Right.
It wasn't rally scoring.
I'm not that old. Yeah, come on.
And it was a match of 15, and it was actually up in Aspen, and I had 11 aces. Yeah, you guys do your work. You do your history. I like this.
Hey, it's game day. You got to be ready to go.
I love this. I love it.
Yeah. Jarom's hanging out with you as the
we're gonna hang out
on the broadcast
for all the
well,
matches.
so.
Yeah, for all the matches.
Awesome.
I'm not on the air. I'm off here, but yeah. Okay, let's talk about why you're in town here. We've got two tremendous matches: Texas, Michigan, BYU, and Florida. Tell us about BYU, Florida. What do you think of this matchup?
Well, it's going to be tough for BYU, even though they're the favorite, because Florida got runner-up last year in the NC2A, and they're looking to get back there. But BYU is strong. You know, I got to see them practice yesterday, and they're physical, and they're, I think, ready to take it to that next level. They had a spectacular season, 27-1. I don't know how they lost that last one to LMU, but that kind of made it interesting, because then you have Texas, who got the number 5 seed, a little bit fired up, because they thought maybe they should be the 4 seed. You gotta understand, it's about getting in the tournament number 1, then being a top 16 to host the first couple of rounds. But the big prize is if you're a top 4 seed.
For sure.
Because then you host a regional. And no one could be more dangerous than BYU getting the advantage of hosting a regional. And because what we talked about earlier, so dangerous at home. I mean, since 94, and correct me if I'm wrong because you're on your stats, 19-0 in NC2A matches since 1994.
Just
unbeatable
so far.
At home.
Yeah.
At home.
At home.
And I think they're on a 22-match home streak. And you don't, like I said, if you're the opposition, you don't want to play here.
Florida had to travel a long way to take on BYU. You can watch that match, stream it on ESPN3. Texas, Michigan will be on ESPNU. BYU, Florida on ESPN3 at 6:30 Eastern, 4:30 Mountain. With Dain Blanton, he's on the call today. I love the matchup between Florida as the number 4 overall blocking team in the country against BYU and their number 1 hit percentage in the country. What do you expect to transpire?
Well, you know, with BYU, they're so impressive on both sides of the ball. Like you said, they're leading the nation in hitting percentage. And the way you come up with that percentage is, you know, kills minus errors divided by total attempts, and they, I think, hit around 320 as a team.
Crazy.
But what's most impressive is on the other side, opponent hitting percentage is, I believe, the second lowest in the nation.
139 or something
Yeah.
like that.
So you're in trouble. They know how to score points. They know how to really keep their opponent low, and it's because of tough serving, and they go after it every single time. Not to mention the players out there on the court. You know, the freshman this year, Knighting, who is on fire. You guys swept the WCC awards. Offensive, player of the year, coach of the year, defender in Mary Lake. I mean, you look in every position and you see a superstar. And it was actually really great to see. I know Lake is kind of the fire 'em up player, and Coach Olmsted said that she is consistent. She's ready to go no matter what. And when you have a player like that to bring you up, it doesn't matter what else is going on. You're going to be fired up to play. And so I got to give the edge, to BYU, and I think this might be the year that they break through.
Ronnie Jones-Perry is certainly up for National Player of the Year. What do you think of her game? Because we've really enjoyed kind of her progression up through this senior year.
Well, I love it. What is special about her is she's an all-around player. And when I played, I used to pride myself on being an all-around player, because in the indoor game, you can be very specific and specialized. You could be that great hitter, the great blocker, but when you put it all together, you can pass, you can play in 6 rotations, you can play defense, you can hit out of the back row. You become so valuable, and that's the type of player that she is. And so I really enjoy watching well-rounded players that don't have a lot of weaknesses. And she's that type of player that you can shoot that ball to the outside even on a bad pass, and she's going to take care of it.
She clean it up.
Yeah, you need to have that cleaner, I guess you call it, that has to take out the garbage, because sometimes you're going to have really terrible passes, and she can make up for it.
And it's fun to watch her hit the bic. In the women's game, that's not hit as much, but they'll put it down the pipe for her.
Yeah. Gosh, you got it all. You got it all. The BIC, which stands for back row quick, it's a very low set right in the middle, and she hits it just about as good as anybody in the nation. And when you have that option out of the back row, it relieves a lot of stress for the setter when they're in the front row. It gives them that other option of a powerful hitter.
Well, we're looking forward to you on the call. Let's finish with this. From a national perspective, how is BYU volleyball overall viewed, both on the men's and women's side, from those that matter in the sport?
Well, I mean, it's a powerhouse. The men have had a ton of success. I think, excuse me, the rankings just came out for this season. I think they're ranked 5 in the first coaches poll. So they are a powerhouse. On the women's side as well, they put up this huge 27-0 record before they lost this year. I think everyone's sitting back and saying, okay, you guys absolutely have been dominant. And if you look at Coach Olmsted's record over the last 4 years, it's the best in the history of the sport, with 3+ seasons at, I think, 906 is the
incredible.
Average. It's
crazy.
incredible. I think it's 116-12. And now I know Heather Olmsted's father really well. He's a Santa Barbara guy, and a grinder. Yeah, he's awesome. And he reffed a lot of my matches. When I was at Pepperdine, he was reffing. And if she is similar to her father, which I think she is, she wants to win and win a national championship. So, you can post up all these great numbers, but there's a point to where you want to say, you know what, I want to bring home that big prize. I want to put that ring on. But what I love about her program, she's very focused on developing the individual first. And then if you put that culture in place and do the right things, the national championship will come.
Dane, it's been great to have you in Studio B. Thanks for coming by on such a busy day. And for the record, you played in Firestone Fieldhouse, which is better than Andrew Firestone, okay? Well, it's just, there are levels.
A separate discussion about which Fieldhouse is better
of Firestones,
yeah,
okay?
Right?
Exactly.
But no, we appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on.
Do you mind signing our flag here? Would that be all right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's get you a pen here.
Right now?
Well, awesome. We'll see you on the call. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
guys.
Coming up, a double dose of rivalry games this weekend. Coming up in the whip around.
And our elite voice of the day. What's the biggest sporting event this weekend? Is it volleyball? Dane probably thinks so. Is it BYU men's basketball against Utah tomorrow in Salt Lake? This is BYU Sports Nation.